Hello there. So I've been a bit quiet for a couple of weeks, and a number of things have caused that, I think. I guess, first of all, a bit of a realigning of my direction. So you'll see, if you're wherever you're watching this, you might be able to see that there's a new strap line next to my name, the well run, good feeling business. I shared a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago, about my realization about the direction I really wanted to take my business in. And I thought this week I would explore the good feeling and kind of what I mean by that, and how that plays out in business. Because it turns out that creating a business, running a business from a good feeling place is it seems the way to do it. So I'm gradually discovering, and I guess how I see this a lot is that I want you to be coming on the journey with me. That I'm exploring this and seeing new things about this um, a lot. Um, so I think the first thing that comes to mind to talk about is how much of our lives as human beings we spend focusing on focusing on the ability to speak, which I appear to have lost, focusing on what we don't want. Um, and I can really there's a number of areas where I can really see myself deeply focused on what I don't want. Um, there's some personal issues going on for me at the moment, which some of you may have picked up on. Um, there's always, the stuff around money, there's stuff around what I want my business to look like, and I can really see places more and more. I can see it more and more how I focus on what I don't want. And you've probably noticed that when you focus on what you don't want, it doesn't feel very good in your body. That's really clever, actually, of your body. And it's clever of your system that it shows you that. It shows you that wherever your focus of attention is going is what's creating the feeling that you have. And I don't want any of this to sound like forcing a feeling or trying to make yourself feel better just by doing affirmations or trying to push it that way. It's more about how tolerant you become of feeling awful and what you see that means. I'll give you an example. Actually, I've got a really good example from the last week or so. So um I was chatting to my friend ChatGPT. I like to use a bit of AI, and I was chatting about the pricing of something on a conversation with AI. And I said, what do you think I should charge for this piece of work, or this? I can't remember what it was. It was, yeah, speaking gig or something. And the price came up on the screen, and I burst into tears. I felt such a visceral reaction to the number. It was definitely, I shouldn't be charging that kind of visceral reaction. And I cried and I cried. I sat. Now, because I now know that those tears are letting me know that I'm believing something that isn't true. I'm believing an unhelpful, silly thought in that moment about what I'm worth or what I should charge. I don't know. The thinking wasn't even that obvious, but the feeling was so strong. Now, in the past, I would have tried to push that away or squash it down, or I would have reacted and done, oh, I can't charge that. That would have been my response. No, can't charge that then. Best not do that. Step away from the number. Don't say that number out loud to anybody. It's too much. And definitely don't present it to anybody else. So there would have been some kind of reaction from that discombobulation, from that uncomfortable feeling. But that day I saw it, and I saw that what came to mind first of all was to just allow the feeling to be there. Now, I think that can only come from a place of being okay with what a feeling is. Oh, this feeling's just telling me that I've got some thoughts that are passing through my awareness right now that are really not helpful, not true. So let's just allow them to be there. Don't fight them. Knowing that it's all moving itself through. Like as I was sat having a sob, and I was really actually sobbing properly, like really, properly crying. To pause again now, so I don't go there again, because I can. As I settled, as I started to feel calmer again, a couple of really clear actions came. And this is what I'm talking about. As I went back, not down, sort of up really into a better feeling, as I was almost at peace with the crying. I think that's where it kind of, that feels really special actually to say that. Like there was a little catalyst. There's a catalyst where I'm not judging myself for the feeling. I'm not saying the feeling's wrong. I'm not saying I have to get rid of the feeling. I'm not saying I have to do something out there in the world to deal with the feeling. I'm saying this feeling can be here. And I'm at peace with the feeling. Like when I used to call myself the Queen of Calm, which I stopped doing because I felt like I was getting people to chase calm. I saw that for me, what that meant was it's okay to feel. It's okay to have our feelings. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything about them. And so it's like that little catalyst is I'm at peace with feeling this. It's even though it's a difficult emotion, I'm good. I feel good about having it. It's okay. Like that is so transformational. So much of the time, we don't think we should be having our feelings at all. So I calmed down, I settled by just starting from being at peace with that feeling being there. So there's a peacefulness coming in. And as I settled, two very clear thoughts that felt very sensible, very commonsensical, actually. First one was to look on the internet to what the person who I might have been charging this price, or what they might have been paying for other things that were similar. That was quite an easy search to do. That was very reassuring because I saw that there were high values on this kind of work out there. And the second thing that I thought to do was to reach out to my network. So I reached out to somebody who I really trust to have a conversation. It was Richard McCann. Reached out to him, had a chat, really helpful. And in the past, that feeling, the emotion coming through there would have just had me back off because I didn't understand the feeling. I would have thought in the past that feeling means I mustn't charge that price. It's too dangerous. It feels dangerous to do that. Like not dangerous, but dangerous to the self. I'm going to be rejected or judged, or I just don't deserve it. But there's something very different when we, first of all, realize that it's okay to have our emotions just as they are. And second of all, we know to wait for the good feeling. So when I'm talking about a good feeling business, I'm talking about navigating more of the time from that good feeling place. And that might sometimes mean pausing, but pausing powerfully, not just pausing for the sake of it, not just being paralyzed and not procrastinating and not able to move forward, but just pausing, just allowing an emotion to be there, allowing an emotion to move through, and seeing that off the back of that, there are these really powerful moments of clarity, really clear. That those two things, those two actions I took completely clarified that I was on the right path. That what AI had presented as a suitable price for this piece of work was a suitable price for the piece of work in terms of real world stuff out there. So how wonderful to see that we could actually make decisions in our business and our life, of course, as well, from this good feeling place, and how much wonderful creative things we could put into the world by doing that. So that's a starter for 10 about the good feeling business. The well-run part we'll come on to as we go along, but I think the well-run, it should be the other way around, really, a good feeling, well-run business, but that's not the way it rolls off the tongue, because the well-run part comes from the good feeling, because then we take those aligned actions from a good place, from a good feeling place. That's almost like the most important thing when we're making a decision in our businesses. Does it feel good in the body, or does it feel tense and tight and ugh? And all we need to do to do that is to breathe, I think, and take a moment for ourselves and not rush through everything at 150 miles an hour. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that makes sense to you. Apologies for my alarm, which just, of course, went off at the last minute there. So take care. I'm back to some regular content and regular videos and stuff. So take care. Lots of love. Bye. And a mouse that won't let me stop the video.